Welcome to a rainy, snowy, all of the elements weather at Heinz Field here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Detroit Lions on the road for a Week 10 matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one, spoiler alert, ends in a 16-16 tie. Wow, what a game. We will dissect this alongside Lomas Brown. I'm Dannie Rogers, but for now, let's hear from the head coach, Dan Campbell, at the podium.
Not necessarily, but it's like I told the guys I was upset we didn't win, but I was also proud of them because of the fact we put ourselves in position to win that game in overtime, and it didn't work out. And our defense has to go back and take the field, and they're driving, and we force a turnover, which I thought was big, and that kept us from losing is what it did. So, we want to win. We're looking for our first win. But I know this, we were better than we were 2 weeks ago. So that's a good team.
You talked about the challenge of beating the Steelers in their own game, and for a lot of this game you kind of were with the physical brand of football. How much of that was necessitated by Jared not being able to do the things that you normally would look for?
Yeah, I think it was both. It was weather, and I think it was a little bit of him. It was both, really. This way, we had an idea the weather was going to go this way. Particularly last night, it was confirmed, so we were set up to do that if need be, but I don't think we necessarily saw it being quite that much. So I think it was really both.
On the sideline, we saw him even laboring through some of those warm-up throws. Yep. What went into the decision to stick with him after looked like maybe he was hurt on the deep throw there for lead?
Yeah, I kept talking to our trainers and talking to him, talking to Brunell and all, it was, hey, the consensus was leave him in there. He was good to go. He wanted to go. He felt good enough to do what he needed to do. And so that's what we did. Stuck with him.
And were you calling offensive plays?
I was. But there again, it's, listen, man, this is a collaboration here. And, I'm taking a lot of input. I still talk to A-Lynn. Plays come in, I go. But yes, I was giving it to Jared.
Can you just explain why you decided to do that this week?
Yeah, I thought, hey, one of the things is why not change it up a little bit here. And I wanted to be able to talk to him in game. And sometimes I think, when you're able to get in the flow of a game, when you're the guy who's calling it, it just helps, to know exactly where to go, whether it's a third down or it's a. And so, yeah. But there again, it's just, honestly, I don't think it's a big deal. There were still things I was giving A-Lynn when he was calling. It's just now I took the green dot basically to Goff so I can communicate to him. So I'll still grab some calls from them. I'll use my own calls. And so, it was a joint effort by all those guys.
Is that the plan going forward?
I don't know. We'll see. Just kind of analyze it. I need to see what I did, what I can do better, and is there a better way to go, or just kind of go from there.
And obviously you had to consider at some point taking Goff out because of the injury situation. The fact that the game was still tight and the running game was working, did that sort of make the decision for you to leave it in there?
Yeah, well, I think it was more that we all felt like he was good. He was good enough to go. From him, that's what I was just telling Justin. From him to Brunell, to the trainers, we all felt like, okay, he's good enough to stay in there, and so that's why I stuck with it. I have to go with my gut and look him in the eyes, and I have to listen to the opinion of our trainers. And if we feel like he can make it, he can make it.
But did you think you could win that game just running the ball without much of a passing game at all?
Yeah, we should have. We didn't, but we should have.
It wasn't a win today, but obviously you avoided becoming the first All-17 team. What is any pressure that comes off you as a coach? It's not a win, but it's also not a loss.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Like I say, I don't. In this twilight zone, I don't know what this is really. And I'm sure I've been in a tie before as a player. For some reason, I can't remember that, if it was. So I don't know. It's just. I have to, there again, I just go back, I'm just proud of the way that they played, man. They snapped back, we were better than we were 2 weeks ago. And now now what we have to do is improve from this week find a way to beat Cleveland next week.
How much did your game plan change?
DeAndre Swift, what could a game like this do for him moving forward?
Listen, Swifty, I thought had a big game, man. He did some really good things in the run game. You know, we know he's been pretty dynamic in the pass game for us, able to do a few things. But man, to see him, you know, and you could feel it early. You know, I had a feeling he was first couple of runs, man. He kind of had that look, and so just being able to give him the ball, and certainly, you know, with Jefferson going down, he was going to get him more of a load. But yeah, I think this will be big for him.
How much did your game plan change with Mason in there instead of Ben? And when did you kind of learn that was going to be the case? Were you surprised at all?
Yeah, not much. Yeah, we found out last night that was going to be it, and so I would say for the most part it didn't change that much. We knew we had to try to stop Najee Harris. That's what everything was going to run through. So it really didn't alter what we had to do. I mean, we were prepared for other things, knowing that Ben was down, but.
As much as you or as well as you ran the ball the first 2.5, 3 quarters, they did a pretty good job bottling you up there the last quarter and overtime.
They did.
What changed? Was that just
They
because
did.
of Jared and they were able to focus
Yeah.
on that?
I mean, look, I just need to see the tape. There's a couple of things where they were overshifting, and which we knew, but they were trying to do that in the first half. You know, we had a couple of just, you know, yeah. I mean, they load the box. That's tough, and we did try to make a couple of throws downfield, and we end up under duress. And look, man, it's a credit to them. They did. I would have liked to thought that with the production we had and what we were able to do, that fourth quarter we should have been able to continue that. We didn't, but.
You did have a chance to win the game, 48-yard field goal. So beyond the conditions, was there anything else that went wrong with the operation that caused that kick to not go good?
No, I mean, no. I mean, it happened, you know. But you like to think they're going to make that kick, but it's also, look, those conditions are rough, and that's why, you know, if anything, I put that on us offensively, that we didn't get down there farther. You know, we put ourselves in a bind, we ended up in that, you know, long yardage situation. We're just trying to get some of it back, if not more, you know. And you don't, at least you get yourself closer to a field goal, and so, you know, it stinks. It didn't work out.
You
Yeah,
mentioned
job
the,
of,
you mentioned the weather. I mean, it was Jared. How much did Jared not feeling great hold you back with the play calling in the second half? Or was that more the weather? I mean, what was the split there?
Yeah, I think it was both. I mean, I don't know if I can put a percentage on both, but yeah, the weather played into it, but a lot of it was, you know, it was both. I mean, it's, you know, it does. It had a little bit of a bearing on it, you know. Now he was able to make a couple of throws there at the end, you know. So
How close to the line were you, I guess, to saying we need to get him out of there?
I thought about it, but there again, I mean, like I've said, you know, I talked to him, I talked to our trainers, I talked to Brunell, you know, talked to Alin. Hey, he's good. He wants to go. He's good. He can do it. So we hung in there, you know, trusted him.
You guys have 2 more guys? What did happen today?
It's really a rib oblique kind of, you know, we'll see what it is.
Hey, Dan, it's not a win, but in these conditions against that team, is there some impact for that team in that locker room right now to come out and go to the tie?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think here's the positive of it is that's a good football team, and that's a winning football team. They've done it right for a long time. They play a physical, bully type brand of football, and you know, we went toe to toe with them, and I think that's what it says, you know. So in that regard, I was proud of those guys, and I think you do take something away from that. Is we were able to go in there, and no, we didn't win, but we didn't lose either. And all you can ask for is improvement. We improved. We did.
You mentioned Swift.
You mentioned Justin last one.
You mentioned Swift and the job he did, but you guys have missed Jamal the last 2 weeks. What about the job Jamar did coming in, having a big run, and Godwin, and they gave you kind of really something you needed with Jared being the way it was, and you guys had to run the ball?
Yeah, I was proud of those guys. I mean, all those guys had production, went in there and just, you know, did a great job. So, you know, Deuce has done a nice job with those guys, but they've got ability, and look, Godwin did a good job returning today again. So, yeah, did well.
Justin, last one. Similar on that theme. Seemed like Jamar was, you know, had a role that was clearly defined. Godwin took those first two, 14 and then 42, wasn't really involved much in the offense after that. Was there a reason? I think we all know who Swift is and what he can do, but was there a reason maybe he didn't try to round that handle a little bit more?
Yeah, I think it was just, you know, with where we were at in the game, and as that clock's ticking down, you're just, you know, if they had, you can say, well, Godwin had a hot hand too. I mean, no doubt. But at the same time, we just kind of wanted to. It's hard to take Swifty out if he's ready to go. You know, that's all. But certainly, we trust these guys. We wouldn't have put Godwin in had he not. You know. But I mean, Swift had some good runs and did some good things. So really, just, you know, if you're asking, yeah, it probably would have been good to get Godwin a couple more carries. You know, it would have been good.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about the 6 offensive lineman packs. I mean, you guys have used it plenty, but getting Decker back and having Nelson play in that role, that would seem to be a good spot for that.
That's what I said. Nelson, getting Decker back was twofold. Number one, the player that he is, but also to be able to have Nelson going and play our jumbo tight end is outstanding, man. I mean, because he's a good football player. You know, he's done a good job for his tackle all year, and man, I thought he stepped in and was. He did a really, really good job.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
We're going to scratch and claw and fight. And we're going to be something this city's proud of. We aren't just the Lions. We're the Detroit Lions. And we're driven by the best. By the people of this city. We are driven by Detroit.
Welcome back to the Detroit Lions post-game live show. And welcome back to Heinz Field for this Week 10 matchup against the Lions and the Steelers. This one was a wow ending that unfortunately ends in a tie. I think no matter how you look at it, the Steelers with a 4-game win streak, Lions with an 8-game losing streak. Alongside Lomas Brown, I'm Dannie Rogers. We will continue to break down this game. However, let's send it to quarterback Jared Goff, who's at the podium now.
Through, particularly it looked like maybe after the deep shot before it kind of came into play.
Yeah.
Can you just explain kind of what you were fighting through in this one and why it was important for you to stay out there through it?
Yeah, on that play there, I describe it as probably a strained oblique. Just kind of nagged me a little bit throughout the game. I felt like I was fine to stay in there and felt like it didn't affect me through the game, but it'll be a little sore tomorrow, but I'll be fine.
So in a game where 50 yards through 4 quarters, I don't think you've ever quite experienced something like that. Like, what's the
that was part. Yeah, I mean that was part of the plan, anyways, with the weather and the way that they play football and the way that we wanted to today was to run the ball efficiently, and we did that and keep the ball on the ground even in situations where we typically wouldn't. And of course, with the quarterback, I want to throw the ball, but that was our game plan this week, and I think I don't know how many attempts we had, but you know, it was part of the game plan, and had we had won, I'd be sitting here saying I don't want it any other way.
What was the difference with, you know, communicating with Dan and calling plays today and stuff like that?
I thought he did a great job, man. It was really good. Stepping in his first time doing it, obviously. But it was really good. I thought he did a great job and had a good feel for, you know, wanted to come back to something that we had done previously and kind of wanted to mix it up. And I think he'll only learn and continue to get better from here.
Have you ever pulled that oblique before?
I've never have, no. It was weird.
I know you've been around the game a while, but in terms of facing tough defenses, how do the Steelers' defense compare to others you've faced so far?
They're tough. They're always tough. I think, you know, they got good players at every level, and you know, I know TJ went down today, but he's as good as anyone in the league right now. So when he's healthy and they're rolling, they're as good as anyone, and with the conditions like they are today, that plays in their favor sometimes.
Just back at it and calling plays for a second. might have been the game plan anyways, you know, regardless of who's calling plays and giving conditions and everything, but do you see the stamp that he put on this? I mean, the running and all the jumbo factors that you had.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's, you know, like his style, but I think he had a good feel for understanding, you know, being on the field and feeling the weather and knowing where we're at and, you know, how good our defense was playing and being able to, you know, I mean, the way the weather was, we had to keep the ball on the ground in some certain situations, and I thought he had a good feel for that.
And then he said, you sort of compared this to the Twilight Zone, right? You want to win, it's a tie, you don't quite know how to feel, and how do you walk away?
Yeah, I don't know how to feel either. I think it's my first tie, if I'm remembering correctly. It feels better than a loss, but still not where we need to be, and you know, it's a step in the right direction, and it's encouraging the way we fought and some of the plays that we were able to make on offense. And, you know, it just felt like offensively, good, bad, or ugly, it was, you know, we were doing things the right way, and our O-line was what we were leaning on.
I understand this, but does any pressure come off of you guys? I mean, it was starting to be out there 0-17.
No,
I mean, guys,
we don't care. No, that was you guys. We don't care.
The runs.
I just asked Dan this too, but how he said he talked with you a few times on the sideline about the injury. Just how close were you to saying I can't go or I'm not feeling well enough?
If I couldn't have thrown, I wouldn't have gone. You know, it was. You know, I don't want to sit up here and say that, you know, I was hurt and whatever, make excuses, but it was bothering me. But I felt like I could compete and throw fine, and I felt like I did. I don't felt like it was a hindrance at any point.
The run game is supposed to set up the play action when you're running it as often as you do and as effectively as you do. Do you find when you tried to run some of those play actions, they were selling out so aggressively for the run, that was why you were facing maybe some extra rush?
Maybe so, yeah. I don't know. I think it's a rhythm, right? It's a rhythm of the game. I think, you know, had we had exactly the conditions we had wanted and everything was perfect, I'm sure we would have mixed in a lot more play action and the rhythm would have kind of settled in a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know to answer your question honestly why that would happen. I think their defensive pass rush is pretty good.
Do you think besides your injury, the weather dramatically altered the amount of time you guys were?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I would say it was much more weather than anything to do with me. I felt like I was capable and, you know, hurt, but it wasn't a hindrance.
Can you describe it when we're up in the press box? We see the rain, but what's it like playing in that sort of constant?
Yeah, it was just rainy. It was just a rainy game. You know, I think unfortunately the field conditions were what they were too, and I know you guys can't tell from up there, but you know, it's dirt, it's sand, it's, you know, they play a game here Thursday night, and sometimes it's the way it goes. They had weather Thursday night when they played on it. We had weather tonight when we played on it. It gets sloppy, it gets wet, it gets muddy. And I think that can affect footing, it can affect the ball, and it can affect a lot of things. But at the same time, they were playing in it too, and ultimately we came up just short.
What can you take from this, just momentum and just kind of carry over into the next week and follow?
Like I said, I think it's encouraging the way we fought and the way we were responsive, and I thought our O-line played really well. And I thought our run game obviously was tremendous, and it felt like, at least offensively, we were, like I said, everything we were doing was for a reason, and it was really, you know, it felt purposeful, right? It felt like we were really on top of what we were doing offensively, and you know, it's something we hold.
What went into the strategy this week of making this kind of a run-first offense, knowing that the Steelers don't allow too many 100-yard rushers? Is it just the weather, or something else you guys saw?
You know, probably, yeah, the weather's part of it, and then I think we wanted to kind of play their game a little bit. We knew that what they do over there with 22 and their offense is pretty good, and we wanted to, you know, win the game that way, win it at the end, type of thing. And had our chances, unfortunately came up too short.
It's really
a couple more guys.
Stay even keeled in your position. And for the first 60 minutes of this game, it felt like a fairly standard football game. That overtime was chaotic, and so I wonder just the emotional, you know, ups and downs of that overtime. How tough was it to just stay poised compared to, you know?
Yeah, it was hard, but I think that whole game was kind of weird. You know, the whole flow of the game kind of put us in that situation where we were kind of, you know, we don't get exactly what we want. It wasn't the end of, you know, we were confident in our defense, and we were confident in things we were doing on offense. We were doing some play action there at the end, and at the beginning of OT where we hit Saint across the field. Like, we had some stuff that we were feeling good about, but yeah, it was just kind of weird the whole day, and yeah, weird feeling now, right?
Hey Jared, when you guys
Last
were
one.
in the locker room afterwards, were guys kind of saying that out loud, like, God, that was a
Mm.
crazy one, that was weird? What was really like the general mood?
Yeah, I think that's it, exactly. It's just weird. I've never experienced a tie, and you don't know if to be happy or sad. I mean, really, you're not happy because we could have won it, and we didn't, but it is better than a loss, I guess. You know, that's not any consolation, but on paper it is. And it feels like we are inching closer to where we want to be and be in positions to win games like that.
That's the first time you tied in your career?
As far as I can remember, yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys, thank you.
You just heard from quarterback Jared Goff alongside Lomas Brown. I'm Danny Rogers. There is so much to digest here in what Jared Goff just called a pretty weird game. The rhythm of it was a little off. The rhythm, though, offensively went in the Lions' favor in regards to the run game. I mean, you have left tackle Taylor Decker back in this lineup. How much of an impact, and how much did that impact the scheme going into this one today?
I thought it was great. It was great to see him back out there. Panay Sewell moving back to the right side. I thought it was just a great improvement on the offensive line. And Dannie, what about the we call it the heavy formation when we were up there. Yeah, with the big boys and the 6 offensive linemen. I thought they did a great job of moving the line of scrimmage, giving DeAndre Swift and Godwin the room that they needed to operate with. So I thought the game plan was great coming in, and I thought they executed from a run standpoint. I thought it was a good executed game.
The weather absolutely being a factor in this one. I was standing out there for some of the fourth quarter, all of the overtime. It was just gross outside. So quarterback Jared Goff saying, yeah, of course the weather affected this one, and the fact that they were run heavy. Jared Goff in the air, 114 yards, 14 of 25 on passing, and you just heard him in his presser say he had a pulled oblique that he said he's never experienced before, but that certainly affects a quarterback. What do you make of how Jared Goff got through that injury today?
And that's the key, Danny. He got through it. I mean, that's a gutsy job by Jared to get through that, because you talking about the oblique. Every time he threw the ball, they had the effect that, yeah, absolutely. So again, for him to stay out there and gut it all the way through, I mean, I think it was a great job for him. It showed a lot of fortitude for the rest of the guys around him, and they seemed to rally around now. Like I said, the running game was very effective today. They did a very good job of running the ball, and I think that helped Jared out a lot, not having to put the ball up in the air as much today.
It certainly helped running back DeAndre Swift, 130 yards on the ground. He was running around people, over people, and he's starting to run through people, which I know has been on his mind that he wants to add to his game.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, we all used to say that Jamal was the tough guy that runs between the tackles. Well, DeAndre wanted to prove today that he can do the same thing. Did a great job of doing that. He was tough to bring down. He was getting those yards after contact. So really, I thought he had a really effective game. And believe me, I think it started wearing on the Pittsburgh's defense. So great job for him to do, for what he did today out there on the field.
It set up those scoring touchdowns from Jamar Jefferson for the second consecutive game. He scores a touchdown, and then the converted safety to running back Godwin Igwebuike scores his first career touchdown, 42 yards to the house. DeAndre Swift was wearing down that defense that really set those two up to have success on the ground today.
Absolutely, and I just feel bad for Jamar. He got his first touchdown and got injured on the play. Yeah, so then couldn't come back in the game.
Correct.
But you're right, that change of motion, bringing him in and bringing Godwin in, those different running styles that those guys come with. You're right, DeAndre was the trendsetter for everything, and I think he did have an effect on that defense that helped the rest of those guys have the game that they had too.
Going back to left tackle Taylor Decker going in there. Earlier this week, we asked head coach Dan Campbell, what are the chances that he would play? He said it's over 50. We didn't know that he would play just about every snap in this game. We'll have to go back and look at the snap count, but he was not rusty coming into this one, and you could tell he wanted to get back in there after suffering a hand injury before the season even started.
He played well. He really did. And think about it, Danny, he had been off all that time to step in against a TJ Watt and some of the pass rushes that Pittsburgh had, he did a great job. I think maybe one penalty, a false start penalty, but other than that, I think I thought Matt Nelson, I thought the rest of those guys, all those guys up front did a great job of creating space for the running back and also giving Jared the protection that he needed to try to get the ball downfield too.
You know who hurt us, I think, last post game against Philly? You're kind of harping on his yards per carry. DeAndre Swift, they were 3.2 yards a rush coming into this game. And like I said, 130 yards on the ground for 33 attempts. His longest rush of the game was 21 yards. That's his longest of the season so far. How can he really build off this game?
Oh, man, I think he could really build off this game. Again, we all know that he's a threat with the passing game of this. But, man, the way he lowers his shoulder pads and he gets through people, like you're saying now, yeah, he can run around people, but now he's starting to run through people. And when you're a threat like that, man, believe me, the defense has to break down for you. And, of course, the guy has speed to run away from you. So he's the ultimate weapon, and I just see him getting better and better and better.
Of course, Swift carrying the load with running back Jamal Williams out yet again, which is a little alarming. Williams was out against Philly in Week 8. They had a bye week. He still was not good enough to come here into Week 10. How alarming is that, even though you did see Jamar Jefferson, who may be out now for time, will confirm that, and then Godwin Igwebuike also stepping up, though?
Yeah, it's big. It would be huge to get Jamal Williams back, because we said he's our hype guy, Danny. He gets the team hyped up.
He was out there today getting them hype. He just did not suit up.
I think that's part of his job description. He's 100%. The hype man.
He'll agree with that, I think. We'll ask him. But let's hear from DeAndre Swift, who's at the podium now to talk after the 16-16 tie at Pittsburgh.
Never experienced something like that, but got to try to find out when you lose, we ain't win either. So it's kind of an in between, emotion-wise. But we just gotta find a way to finish better. We had opportunities. Feel like we played better coming off the bye. Proud of how we fought. Got to try to find a way to close it. That's all.
What was working really well with the run game? I think obviously the weather kind of dictated that type of game, but 233 yards, I think you had 130. It was kind of really rolling today.
Everything was working, especially early on. Offensive line did a great job up front. Did a great job with the calls, and look who was getting on defense. JG making the kill plays that he had to make, different rotations we saw. So just the stuff that we was calling was working. O-line did a great job, made it easy for the backs.
And talked about this a little bit, but getting Decker back and what that allows you guys to do, Matt as your sixth offensive lineman and some of those big packages, how did that sort of, what impact did you think that had?
Great impact. Great to have Deck back. He's a great leader for this team. We better when he out there.
How do you feel this is the most carries you've had as a pro? I don't know when you had 30, 33.
No, I never had 30 anything. I'm a little short, but I'll be all right.
You asked him anything Justin asked you a couple weeks ago. You want the Derrick Henry workload to come
Yeah, I mean, it definitely came. Like I said, we just got to find a way to finish. It felt better with a win. But it is what it is. Got to go back to work.
I think the end of the first half, you had 8 carries, like 60 yards on that drive, and there were a few runs where you were dragging piles, that fourth down run, you kind of ran through, but you were running angry. I mean, did you sense that as you were running, maybe with a little bit different level of emotion today?
I mean, that's how I try to run anytime I touch the ball. It's kind of my mentality that I have anytime I touch the ball. Try not to let one person take me down.
What about Jamar and Godwin stepping up? You guys have missed Jamal the last 2 weeks, and you guys really got something from those two today.
They did a great job. I'm proud of them, too. They knew their assignment. They was out there playing fast, made the most of the opportunities like I told them to yesterday. I'm so proud of them.
DeAndre was crazy through the fourth quarter, but even in overtime, did you feel like, oh, we're just about to win it, oh, they're just about to win it, back and forth, like 5 different times?
Definitely was going back and forth. It was a point where I thought we was going to win the game, thought it was over. We got in position to win the game, just didn't work out in our favor. So like I said, we got to go back to work, get ready for a great opponent next week.
Jared downplayed this a little bit, but what did you see from him just in terms of the injury he's fighting through? Was it a gutsy performance for him to be out there?
Yeah, warrior. I'm not sure what the injury was. I could tell he was on the sideline hurting. For him to just keep going back out there, just keep putting us in position for us to try to win the game. The warrior.
I know Dave asked about Decker being back. I mean, maybe we won't know until you see the film, but can you feel it when you're back there? I mean, do the holes look different when you've got your best guys out there?
Yeah, like I said, it'd be better with him out there. They did a great job. O-line did a great job today up front. The whole game, really. Like I said, we got to find a way to finish it.
How was it, both halves, you guys were kind of rolling, early even through the third quarter, and then it looked like there was a little bit of hard, just kind of harder to find running room. Just how was it, both, whenever you guys were rolling in, when everything's kind of closed up again?
I mean, they're good defense, great defense. They're going to figure some stuff out. That's when we got to go back to the drawing board, try to fix stuff and do it in a different way. I mean, like I said, we just got to find a way to fit out. So.
Did you feel like you had that momentum, just kind of, just kind of rolling in and just having the run
After the second half?
Either way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel like we ran the ball well the whole day. Like I said, weather kind of dictated what we kind of had to do offensively. Just got to look at the film and correct what needed to be corrected.
You avoid 0-17, the tie. So, anything to you anyway? To avoid 0-17 at least, so you might get in the tie.
Nah, I don't count as a win for me. So you just got to find a way to win the game. Kind of like a loss for.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See if they get you a nice bet on the line.
Welcome back to Heinz Field. You just heard from running back DeAndre Swift alongside Lomas Brown. I'm Dannie Rogers. We have got to talk about the play of the game. Of course, this one ending in a 16-16 tie, but we mentioned it earlier. DeAndre Swift really breaking down this Pittsburgh defense to open up the field for the rest of his running backs, one of them being Godwin Igwebuike. He was a safety coming into the Lions squad this season. He had 2 rushing attempts today, looks like for 56 yards. One of those rushing attempts, 42-yard touchdown. That is the first of his career. What an incredible moment.
I mean, broke so many tackles. The guy, he refused to go down. That was determination to get in that end zone. And like we heard that he kind of blanked out. He really didn't remember.
TJ Lang, 97.1 sideline reporter, said he talked to him after the game. Godwin blacked out after that one. So it'll be interesting to hear from him Monday when it actually all comes to him. But that touchdown in the third quarter was a big one. That's the one that really put these Lions ahead and almost insecure of a win. However, they just could not get it done. But what an awesome moment for him. And then, of course, Jamar Jefferson, 2 touchdowns in a row in consecutive games, one against Philly, one here again today. The rushing game was just on fire.
It really was, Danny. And I like how they switch it up. I like this change of running back that comes in there. And it's a weapon. It really is. When you got 3 guys that got different running styles, it really puts the defense on their heels. So, again, I'm looking forward to us moving ahead with this running game. Offensive line was great today. I got to shout out the big fellas. They were great today up front, providing that space for those running backs. But I'm really happy that they seem like they found the formula for being able to run the ball.
They sure did. Okay, we have got to touch on this Lions defense, holding Pittsburgh to 2 field goals and a touchdown. Lions forcing 2 fumbles. You had the Julian Okora interception, the first of his career, which was a game changer in this one. What did you see from the defense that kept these Lions in the game?
They were aggressive. They were swarming to the ball.
Tracy Walker, you are going to say it.
Bringing it or
the
what?
Safety just absolutely crushing it. Really hard hits.
Yes, he was bringing it all game long. And I think those guys fed off that. You seen them gang tackling. You seen guys jumping over piles and running from sideline to sideline. That was great enthusiasm by the defense, and I really think it kind of caught Pittsburgh off guard at how hard that we were playing. So it was a great job, and like you said, I think Tracy Walker was a trendsetter. He set the trend for the rest of those guys, and they just followed him.
Tracy Walker in concussion protocol. Because of one of those huge hits. So we'll continue to monitor him. But Julian Okora, he has really had to step up on the edge since his brother Romeo suffered a torn Achilles to start this season, earlier in the season. And he recorded his first sack a few weeks ago. Now he has his first interception. I mean, how much is he growing here in this season?
Danny, he is. And, we see the highlight plays, but I watch him in some of the regular plays that don't make highlights. He was making plays. He was chasing guys down from the backside. He was two-gapping his offensive linemen and shedding them and getting rid of them. He was running from sideline to sideline. The guy had a good, very, very good game, and I could just only see him growing. He's a young guy, doesn't have a lot of experience up on him. So the more experience that he gets up under his belt, I think the better he's going to continue to get.
The Lions up front holding Najee Harris, the running back
Yes.
rookie for Pittsburgh, to no touchdowns. He came into this one 5 consecutive games with at least 1 touchdown. He has none today. Looking at his stats, 105 yards on the ground on 26 attempts.
Yes.
His longest attempt for 12 yards. Of course, he usually gets it done in the air too. Only 28 yards, it looks like, in the air for Najee Harris. So they did do a good job of limiting him.
They really did, and that's who they had to eliminate, regardless of whether Ben was there or not. The person that I felt they need to key on was Najee Harris. He's the guy that almost like the bell cow for their offense. If they could have got that running game going, it would have opened up a lot more things for Mason Rudolph today. But I thought they did a great job of kind of limiting him, not giving him the big play. And then also when he did get out in space with catching passes, they were able to come up and make the tackle. So I thought the defense that week, that bye week, they really, Coach said he was going to be more involved in the bye week, and I think they did a great job of making the necessary adjustments that they had to make.
You talk quarterback Mason Rudolph back up to Ben Roethlisberger, who self-reported COVID symptoms Saturday night, late Saturday night.
While we were breaking bread.
While we were breaking bread, we got that alert. He had tested positive for COVID. So Big Ben was out of this game. In steps Mason Rudolph, who has had some playing time. This is his 16th career NFL game. I believe his 10th start. He went in there short notice. Didn't do an awful job.
No.
And how much does that impact the Lions' game plan, though? Knowing Big Ben was out, but Mason Rudolph comes in.
Well, the thing about it could have impacted in a negative way. And the only reason I'm saying that, Danny, is because Mason is mobile. We know Big Ben, where he was going to be at in that pocket, but they could do different things with Mason. You've seen a couple of times they rolled him out, got him out so he could get rid of the ball, and he got himself out of trouble when he had to. A nice big run, I think a 26-yard run that he had in the game, too. So, again, he was a guy that could have gave us problems, but kudos to the defense. Even though they got a short notice about this guy coming in the game, I thought they did a pretty good job with Mason Rudolph, too.
Mason Rudolph being forced to throw 50 times in this one for 242 yards. Okay, let's take a look around the league of the NFL. I mean, so much going on today. Let's see if I can get my big, all of my games. There's so many games, you guys. Let's see if I can get this going. Maybe not. We might just have to guess. Lions have the Browns coming up next.
Yes.
Last time I heard, Baker Mayfield, quarterback, had left the field. They lost 45-7, it looks like, in the end. So that's a big one coming up for these Lions, potentially to get into that win column.
Yeah, because he was a guy coming off a shoulder injury, got back in, had a pretty good game last week, but again, now he's going to be dealing with a knee injury. So yeah, you're right. That could be an advantage for the Lions coming into this game, the game next week. So we'll just have to see. We just have to see how he comes along and expect, I think it's Case Keenum is his backup, so the Lions probably have to make adjustments or be ready for a Case Keenum.
Ooh, okay. I've got some final scores for you guys.
Some goodies.
Cowboys laying it on the Falcons, 43-3, the final. Woo! Titans pulling out a close one against the Saints. Man, they're going to keep doing that all season. 23-21, the final. Colts getting the win over the Jags, 23-17. Patriots getting it done over the Browns. We talked about it, 45-7. Bills putting it on the Jets, 45-17. No shocker there. Of course, the only tie in this week so far. We still got some more playing. Lions, Steelers, Washington getting a huge win over the Bucks, 29-19. Of course, you've got the Chiefs, Raiders playing tonight at 8:20. Okay, we touched on the Browns a little bit now, but pending Baker Mayfield not playing in that game, you just said it could be a Case Keenum showing. But they have to go to Cleveland. They have to play an away game on the road.
Danny, after this game, I'm encouraged. Whether Baker's there or not, I'm encouraged. If they go in the next week playing the way they played this week, as hard as they played, some of the things that they did this week, they got a great opportunity to get our first win this season. We got a tie, so let's go on ahead and get our win.
To be honest, I don't even want to listen to the people, the comments on this. Technically, the Lions did snap Pittsburgh's 4-game losing streak. Does that mean technically the Lions have snapped their 8-game losing streak?
To me, in my mind, the back of this little mind that I got, I'm going to say
technically, if we're going to be
Technically,
technical,
that's right. Why not?
why not? At this rate, why not? Week 10, Lions now, we are going to have to say this, 0-8-1. That was kind of like my worst nightmare of having to say that on camera. It is a tie. I mean, what was going through your mind in those extra frames here?
You know, it was my mindset was, man, let's get this ball. Let's try to get it in field goal range. Let's win this game. I wanted us to win this game. I did not want this game to end in a tie. You know, even though it did, I wanted the victory. I'm greedy, Danny. I wanted the dub.
Please be greedy, yes.
I wanted the dub. But
yes.
But I guess we'll settle for the tie for right now, and then we'll get our dub next week.
What
about that?
Is that your closing thought?
That's my closing thought.
You're okay with a tie?
Yeah, I'm better than the loss. Okay, that's all. I'll leave it like that.
Quarterback Jared Goff said this feels a little bit better than a loss,
There
but
you
it's
go.
still not where they want to be.
Absolutely, and I feel that as a player in that locker room, all the hard sweat, tears, and blood that you pour out there. Yes, you want the dub. You don't want the tie, but you want the dub. But that's all right. We got another week. We're gonna get it.
I feel you're giving me a pep talk right now.
I know. I do sound like
you're like, we're fine. We're gonna be fine. Gotta love Lomas Brown, one of a kind. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up from Heinz Field. Lions going on the road to play those Steelers on that hot 4-game win streak, and it is broken. We have confirmed it.
Yes.
The tie breaks that 4-game winning streak. Lions get a tick mark.